Well, did you know that yesterday marked the most devastating natural disaster in U.S. history? The 1900 hurricane that struck Galveston, Texas, still ranks as one of the deadliest hurricanes ever.
The Galveston hurricane was a Category 4 when it made landfall. An estimated 8,000 to 12,000 people lost their lives, mostly in the Galveston area. More than 3,600 homes were destroyed and damage was estimated at over $30 million.
And hurricanes like that, thankfully, are hard to come by, especially this season so far. Here's our hurricane specialist, Michael Lowry, with your tropical update. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Paul, that's right. But we could get our first hurricane here in the next few days with Umberto, which has become better organized this afternoon. Take a look at the latest information that we have from the Hurricane Center as of 5 o'clock. Umberto located about 100 miles to the southwest here of the Cape Verde Islands. Maximum winds were at 50 miles per hour, and it is moving off toward the west now at 13 miles per hour. Our water vapor picture shows you where all of the water is in the mid and the upper levels of the atmosphere, and there's a nice tail of moisture here coming up from the equator, wrapping in to Tropical Storm Umberto, and you can see the expanse of the yellow here indicating the strongest storms growing over the low-level circulation. There is some dry air up here to the north as indicated by the bronze and brown shading here, but that is up to the north of it. It's pretty well protected right now. We do expect it to continue to strengthen over the next few days. So the forecast takes it off toward the west, eventually moving off to the northwest and eventually northward, intensifying it into a hurricane by tomorrow afternoon. This will be flirting with our record here for the latest hurricane to form first in the season, and then intensifying as it moves toward the north, and then eventually leveling off here as it moves over cooler ocean temperatures and the upper level winds become a little less favorable. So no threat here to the U.S., more of a meteorological interest on whether or not it becomes our latest forming first hurricane in the Atlantic. Let's review over the past week or so, because there's been a lot of activity in the Atlantic, and this has been a combination of a few things. We've had a very favorable pattern here across the Atlantic, this global wave, the MJO as we call it. We've tracked that, and it's been in a favorable state across the Atlantic. Also, climatologically speaking, this is when we expect the most storms. Now, last Monday, we were watching this tropical wave east of the Antilles. We followed that as it moved. We moved to the middle part of the week. It became much better organized just to the south here of Puerto Rico, and that's when we saw Tropical Storm Gabrielle form. But some dry air at the mid levels of the atmosphere weakened the thunderstorms, and so it weakened. We're still tracking the remnants here, but right under our noses last Friday, we had a tropical depression form right along the coast here of Mexico. Tropical Depression 8, that moved inland. Fortunately, didn't have a lot of time to strengthen over the southern Gulf of Mexico. And then as we got into the weekend, we watched this tropical wave come off the coast of Africa, and that has what become Tropical Storm Umberto. And that's sort of where we're left off now, with a few disturbances across the tropics. We have the remnants of Gabrielle. Don't expect them to redevelop, but we do have this tropical wave over the Yucatan, this area of interest. And I want to key in on this, because as we get to the later part of the week, this has become probably the big story toward the end of the week. The Hurricane Center right now is giving it a 30% chance of becoming a tropical depression or storm over the next few days. Right now, if we look at our area of spin, there's not a whole lot going on down here in the southern Gulf of Mexico, but watch as we move through the week, and you can see this concentrated area of spin develop in the Bay of Campeche and the southern Gulf of Mexico. By the weekend, this could move up into Mexico and even southern Texas, so we'll want to keep a close eye on this, and we'll keep you posted. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Michael.